Hey guys, Camfree15 back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another Masamune Kun, as I stretch out my mic, episode review for you guys as we continue on with season 2, and we kind of get a backstory here, just getting the basic understandings of why, well, Masamune ended up turning out being the character he is. Also, obviously, we kind of dive a little bit into, I guess, how Aki truly feels about this, which also at the same time, it makes no sense that she hasn't picked up on the fact that this guy named Masamune has the same name as the guy she had a crush on back, you know, when she was younger. But okay, yeah, sure, you know, let's not bring that point up. But that whole thing ensues. We get that backstory to the point where it's something that Masamune doesn't recall at the moment, and then you kind of get a little bit of a lead on of like, oh, I think I know who that technically was. But pretty much we kind of pick up where we last leave off with the cliffhanger from last week, with obviously, again, I should have got the names down, the maid, and obviously fake Masamune, who's actually a girl. And pretty much the thing is with that situation is the maid isn't really afraid of what obviously fake Masamune is doing or trying to threaten her, but all of a sudden he makes this threat in terms of talking or bringing up the maid's family. Which actually, let me do my freaking due diligence, and instead of calling her the damn maid, let's actually get her damn name. So then people are like, okay, why you keep calling her the maid? It's her character. Let's see. Let's Google Masamune Kun's Revenge. Character. Yoshino. That's what it is. Yoshino. And then the fake Masamune is called Gaso. So anyways, Gaso pretty much makes like this threat akin to like something bringing up Yoshino's family, like her parents, or like preferably her mom, and Yoshino just starts freaking out, and then pretty much that's where that scene ends. And pretty much Gaso's like, you better do the right thing, otherwise you don't want to be called out by your mother or something like that. So maybe it definitely seems like it has something to do with Yoshino's backstory. We don't really understand the past of Yoshino, how she became Aki's maid and things like that. So unless, you know, that was already explained in like the first season. Again, mind you, I haven't watched the first season in like a long time, so I'm just thinking of, I can't even remember of certain things from it. But it was kind of an interesting point just to see like, okay, for once we're actually seeing Yoshino actually like be broken down and actually be afraid of something. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. Now the rest of the episode pretty much is around Masamune and Aki. Again, they're obviously trying to act out obviously the hold on. No, that's the, I'm trying to find out who the French girl is. Characters. Good, they got a wiki actually that I can go off on. Muriel. Yes. So they're obviously kind of doing things. Masamune and Aki are doing things for Muriel's, you know, manga that she's trying to create about Japanese, like a Japanese romance story. And to be honest, they're kind of doing the typical thing that you typically see, obviously, in these Japanese animes with romance, of the whole hand-holding thing, and then both characters getting flustered and things like that. You know, Muriel's just yucking this all up to the point, like, you know, there was a moment where it's like, okay, yeah, we got to stop this whole crap. And like, not only was Masamune like sweating that he was holding Aki's hand, but it also seemed like Aki was kind of also sweating. that she was holding Masamune's hand. And then it gets to the whole thing about, the typical romance part where, oh, I'm gonna feed you this food item and things like that. And obviously Aki couldn't bring herself to do it. And then that's when she kind of pretty much admits to Masamune that she can't really, like, acknowledge his feelings or have his, like, pretty much, I guess, tell him to his face, like, I like you back and I kind of want to be with you. But she goes on, pretty much explains her entire backstory of, like, I can't fall in love with you because, well, I actually still swoon over this other guy, this childhood friend of mine that I was in love with. And she pretty much goes through the whole backstory. So we kind of get the backstory thing about Masamune and Aki way back when they were kids. Of the fact that, obviously, we know that Masamune was a fat kid back in the day. And he was always the target of getting bullied. And then eventually Aki came into his life. They became good friends and everything, and they started to care a lot about each other. This discussion also got brought up about about her dogs and everything, as well, because she has dogs. Because there was, like, as they were, like, eating, a dog comes up to them, to try to get her sandwich, and it just sparks a memory about one of her dogs. But going back to the backstory, pretty much there was, like, a moment where, or throughout the backstory, we kind of see it from Aki's perspective that her parents are not going through a good stretch in life, and they're arguing and fighting with each other, and she tries to just hang out with Masamune to get away from that. So then what pretty much happens is she's kind of frustrated and she gets very emotional because she eventually finds out that her parents are getting divorced, and her parents are kind of fighting over, like, who gets the custody, I guess, over her. And pretty much Masamune pretty much says, like, don't worry, Aki, I'll always be there for you whenever you need me, pretty much. Your typical guy thing that a guy would say to a girl, saying, oh, don't worry, I'll always be by your side through this tough time you're going through. Mind you, this is also the same night. Apparently Aki tells pretty much Masamune, like, oh, you're a fatso, pig's foot, blah, 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 blah. But anyways, like, he was getting flowers for her and everything. And then when the bullies come back, because they ended up stopping the bullies earlier that day, like putting them in a pit or something, and the bullies get back. Now, why the bullies picking on this kid, I have no freaking clue. Why they continue to do it, I have no clue. Why they couldn't have just told an adult, I have no freaking clue. They're freaking kids. Even though kids are a lot smarter than you think they are, but sometimes you do have those kids where they don't think of the simplest things. One, because they're too young, and maybe two, they just don't have that come to mind. But anyways, obviously he runs to Aki's house, and then you get the scene where obviously Aki calls him pig's foot and says, I want nothing to do with you, pretty much. And obviously the bully's like, wow, she damn near rejected your ass, pretty much. So that's kind of the thing there. Now, the interesting point with that whole standpoint is when we come back to the present, Masamune gets all upset and pissed off because he's like, what the hell? He remembers that, but Aki makes an akin to the fact that she acts as if she had no recollection of the memory, or as if she didn't do it. And obviously this pisses off Masamune because he's like, you need to stop. Pretty much, in a way, giving it away that was him the entire time, but she doesn't put two and two together for some odd reason. She gets pissed off, like, what the hell do you expect of me, and everything, and she kind of storms the hell off. But obviously Masamune's pissed because from his perspective, he's like, no, you're freaking lying to me. You never said you said all this stuff to me and things like that. Now again, why the guy couldn't just take a chill pill and just ask, like, wait a second, what do you mean by that? And then he could have just told her the story, like, I was the fat kid you're talking about. My name is Masamune. You're saying the guy was named Masamune. There's a reason. Again, and it's funny because watching another reviewer make this point in his review, where it's like, it could be something so simple as just to have a sit-down conversation and explain everything. And if you're wondering, like, well, why would Aki believe him? Well, then Masamune could remember something from their past, and she would probably put, like, two and two together and be like, wait, you are Masamune. Now again, I don't know why he didn't say anything, or why he didn't take a chill pill and ask, like, wait, what are you talking about? Blah, 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 blah. But anyways, the episode pretty much ends off with the fact that she runs away pretty much emotional and everything, because obviously Masamune got mad at her, but she's obviously also frustrated that it seems like Masamune, to her, didn't understand where she was coming from and everything. So that was kind of the whole thing. She runs into Goso, or but pretty much she doesn't listen to him, or listen to her technically. She actually finds Yoshino, and she tells Yoshino that she's not feeling well. In the meantime, Muriel, she's like, oh, we can't have this happen and everything. And then she calls her brother. Her brother calls her again. And she pretty much tells the whole situation with her brother. And the brother's like, if you need me to do something, I'll get those kids back. And Muriel, apparently, from what we know, is she's not cool with what the brother did. But it seems like she's drawn an image of Masamune and Aki, the fact that, oh, don't worry, it's going to be all fine pretty much. And it showed them pretty much like together. So I guess you want to say, oh, this is the little mini arc. I guess this is the arc where the two love interests are obviously arguing in the arguing stage, where they just don't want to talk to each other because there was that one argument that pissed them off. Well, there you go. But obviously the thing, if you watch the backstory right then and there, obviously you see a girl that looks like Aki and sounds like Aki, especially if you watch the English dub version of it too. And obviously the thing is, well, Aki calls Masamune pig's foot. Now, we only know of one character in this entire series that calls Masamune pig's foot. That's the frickin' maid. So it's looking more than likely that it was Yoshino that did that. Now, it seemed like she must have made herself look like Aki or something like that to trick Masamune. So pretty much everything could be responsive. This entire story, this entire revenge plot could be because of Yoshino. Now, the reason why, if this is the case, this is Yoshino. If this is the case, if it was Yoshino pretending to be Aki, why would she do something like that? Could be maybe multiple reasons. Don't know. We'll see. But we do know that Yoshino is very attached to Aki. So maybe it has something to do with that when they were kids as well. So guess we'll find out. But solid episode of Masamune. Again, apologize for not getting this review out yesterday. I was pretty much, well, I wasn't busy. I was just exhausted from yesterday. Yesterday was a long day, and plus it's hot. Summertime. The summer is here, and it is super hot. So yeah, I wish it was cold again already, but can't win them all, right? It's gonna be hot it's gonna get hot eventually. But anyways, that's pretty much it. That's all I gotta say for this episode review of Masamune Kun. If you liked the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this episode, as well as hit that subscribe button if you want to get more anime content or any of the more Masamune Kun's revenge content on the channel. But other than that, I'm gonna get out of here. Catch you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, peace.